Hey everyone, this is Anna. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I want to show you how I made this card using the brand new set by Scrapbook.com called Sentimientos en Español, which is awesome to have sentiments in Spanish that I can use with many different stamp sets that I already own. This one in particular that I'm using today is called Birdsong by Bo Bunny, and also I'm using the Plank stamp by Tim Holtz. So the first thing is to stamp the background image. I'm using a distress oxide ink for this, but you can use any other type of ink that you may have available. I will provide the name of all the supplies that I used in this project in the video description below. So now that I have my background done, I'm ready to start stamping the flowers. These will be heat embossed, so I need an embossing ink. For this, I'm using Ranger's Gray Tinted Embossing ink. And one of the things I like about using this ink is that it's a little easier to see where the stamped image is at, since it has a very light gray tint. And for the embossing powder, I'm using one of Ranger's new embossing powders. It's called Blueberry Speckle, and it's really cool. It has 3 different colors. It has blue, gold, and white. So you get a very unique effect on your image. And usually I like using my heat gun for this purpose, but I had my heat tool next to me, so I decided to use that instead. It works just as well, it just takes a little bit longer. Next, I make sure I clean my stamp because I will be using Scrapbook.com's black ink, and I will be stamping it, aligning it as best as I can on top of the embossed image, and it gives it a really nice effect, almost like 3D, so I was really happy with the result. Here you see me using my heat tool to make sure it's completely dry. I also use 2 of the little bees available in the stamp set, and I just used the same black ink, and one of them is a little larger, so I use that for the top left, and the smaller one I do on the mid half of the card. So next I will be cutting the panel down to a slightly smaller size than my A2 size card base, and this will create a small gap in between the two, so you have a nice frame around the panel. And I was so excited to try these. I never used the sponge daubers before. These are by Scrapbook.com. They come 40 in the case, and I have to say I was really happy with how easy it is to apply ink to your projects using these daubers. So I was pretty pleased. I also like that they are small enough for you to have control over the areas where you want the ink to go to. So that was really nice. And I really like the fact that there are so many in the case. Like I said, there are 40 of them. And for the price point, especially right now, I believe they are half off. You can definitely get 1 dauber per ink pad that you own. So that's pretty nice. So besides adding it to the edges of the panel, I also added behind the bees and behind the flower, just to give the images a little more depth. And I decided to add a little bit of yellow to brighten the card, and also to the bees as well, just to add a little bit of color. Now I'm ready to stamp the sentiment. I am using the one that says Feliz Cumpleaños, which means happy birthday. And I'm trying out this new blocks that Scrapbook.com carries, and I have to say I really love them. I like that they are really thick, so they are very easy to lift from your work table, which comes in handy. And also it has this little grooves on the edges, so your fingers rest really nicely on them. And here I'm using my corner punch chomper tool. I love creating round edges with this tool. I've had it for many years, so I highly recommend that you have this tool available in your craft room. You will use it a whole bunch, so I'm really happy I have it. And as a final touch, I decide to ink the edges with the black ink. And as you can see, I have a little washi tape around this dauber. That way I know that that black is just a regular black ink. It's not a distress ink. And I do the edges of the panel, and also you will see me doing the edges of the sentiment. Now I'm ready to put the card together. To adhere the sentiment, I'm using some foam tape to add a little bit of dimension to the sentiment. And then to adhere the panel to the card base, I'm using Scrapbook.com double-sided tape. You only need a little bit of this tape. It's pretty strong, so it does a really good job adhering. So I decided to use a little bit of the Nouveau Crystal glaze on the bees. I wanted them to kind of pop from the background, and this is an easy way to do that. And that was the last step to complete this card. As you can see, it's very simple to make this card, and what I really like about it is that you can use it for any occasion. You can swap the Feliz Cumpleaños sentiment for Pensando en ti, which means thinking of you, or gracias, which of course means thank you. This is a very versatile set. I'm really happy I have it. I know I will be using it for many different cards. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, please let me know. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'll see you next time. Take care.